I came home for the holidays, only to find a handsome guy had moved in across the hall. He was the same senior from college I had chased after for 4 long years. This time he was the one chasing me, saying, "Joe, give me a chance." I rejected him coldly. "Sorry, it's too late." After drifting away for a year, returning home felt bittersweet. The moment I stood at the door, I decided to give my mom a huge hug. After knocking, I stepped back, ready to pounce on her as soon as the door opened. "Mom, I missed you so much," I cried as the door swung open. Wait, something felt wrong. I suddenly pushed the person away. When I realized it was Finn, I was stunned. I took a step back and double-checked the apartment number. 901, that was right. I wasn't so stupid that I'd forget my own home after just 1 year. "Joe, is that you?" My mom's voice called from inside. I looked into the living room and saw my mom's shocked and embarrassed face. "This is Finn. Mrs. Miller moved out and he just moved in," she explained. "Finn, this is my daughter, Joe." If I were an ostrich, I would have buried my head in the sand right then. "Hello, Joe," he said. Hi, hello," I stammered. I saw the gossip in my mom's eyes. She definitely sensed something. "Do you two know each other?" she asked. "Yes," he said. "No," I said at the exact same time. Seeing Finn calmly say, "We knew each other," made me want to punch him. "We went to the same university. Maybe she just doesn't recognize me," he added playfully. Finn stared at me intently. "Oh, I see. Finn, why don't you stay for lunch? I'm cooking," my mom said. She winked at me frantically. Her eyes were screaming, "This guy is a catch. He's single and decent, don't let him go." "So, you really don't remember me, Joe?" Finn said with a smirk. I guess I'm the only one who found that time unforgettable. His tone was teasing, but there was a hint of something else in it. He was definitely making fun of me. But it was true. In the past, it was always him forgetting me. I had chased him for 4 years. Yes, all 4 years of college. On my first day of university, Finn was there to welcome the freshmen. I was his first catch. The moment I saw him, every cell in my body screamed, "He's so handsome I could die." My late-blooming heart felt like a tidal wave crashing over my sanity. Finn was a junior then, and had been voted the most handsome guy on campus many times. But he was cold. Many girls tried to date him, but they usually gave up after a few days. But I was stubborn. I confessed to him over 20 times, and I was rejected every single time. He turned me down, but he never had a girlfriend either. I was always the type to pursue a goal until the end, so I kept at it. It wasn't until his ex-girlfriend returned that I realized how foolish I had been. He had always had a white moonlight in his heart. That was during my senior year. In a fit of passion, I left for a city in the south. I blocked Finn on everything and moved on with my life. At the dinner table, the atmosphere was incredibly awkward. I really didn't know what to say to him. I hadn't dated anyone in the 3 years I was away. I admit I couldn't let go of him, even though I didn't even have his contact info. My best friend Mo blamed it on my late-blooming obsession. Finn and my mom were chatting happily. It took me a moment to realize he was the great neighbor she had been raving about. She talked about him like he was the son she never had. This wasn't the first time I'd shared a table with him. But looking at my favorite fish, I had no appetite at all. "Are you staying this time, or are you leaving again?" Finn suddenly asked. I was caught off guard. "I'm staying," I replied. It was true. My mom had a health scare recently, and Finn was the one who took her to the hospital. He had been so helpful that she wanted to adopt him. After that scare, I decided to transfer back home to be with her. I wanted it to be a surprise, but Finn had managed to get it out of me. My mom's eyes lit up when she heard I was staying. The meal was flavorless to me. I just pushed the food around my plate. After lunch, Finn left, saying he had to go holiday shopping. That night, I came down with a fever. Yes, a real fever. I had dodged the flu all winter while my coworkers were falling like flies. I had even bragged about being a super immune worker. But when the virus hit, it hit hard. My mom was worried, but then she realized we were out of everything, even the rapid tests. "Maybe I should go ask Finn if he has any," she suggested. I nodded weakly. The next day, my mom caught it too. She looked at me like she wanted to kill me. I never would have thought that Finn would be the one taking care of me. He came over to check on my mom and found us both down for the count. My dad was away, so Finn volunteered to look after us. Honestly, I could see why my mom wanted to adopt him. Even I did. For some reason, my symptoms were worse than anyone else's. I had a 104-degree fever and felt like I was swallowing razor blades. By nighttime, I was delirious. Finn brought me some medicine. When you're sick, you're vulnerable and emotional. Seeing him there, all the memories of the last 3 years rushed back. After taking the medicine, tears started streaming down my face. Finn didn't force me to drink more water. Instead, he gently wiped my tears. "Why are you crying?" His voice was as gentle as silk. He had changed so much in 3 years. "Finn," I whispered. He suppressed a smile. "Stop talking, your voice sounds terrible." I didn't really hear what he said. Everything felt like I was floating. "I love you so much," I blurted out. Finn, who had been holding back a smile, suddenly froze. If you're counting, that was my 24th confession to him. He said something else, but I was so tired I just drifted off to sleep. The next morning, my fever finally broke. I saw Finn busy in the kitchen and remembered my delirious confession. Suddenly, I had no idea how to face him. Finn turned around and saw me leaning against the kitchen wall. "Feeling any better?" he asked. His eyes were bright, almost as if he was expecting me to say something. "I made some porridge. I'll bring some to your mom in a bit, but you should eat some first." Since I didn't respond, Finn just placed the bowl on the table and pulled out a chair. We sat across from each other. "Don't you have anything you want to say to me, Joe? Or do you remember what you said last night?" I knew he would bring it up. "I was delirious from the fever. Don't take it seriously," I replied. Finn's face darkened instantly. "Well then stop talking. Your voice still sounds terrible." He really had a way of killing the mood in a split second. It felt like the virus had treated the 3 of us like one family. Just as my mom and I were getting better, Finn fell ill. My mom decided that since Finn had looked after us for so long, I should return the favor. So the roles were reversed. To be honest, Finn was very sweet and cooperative when he was sick. He wasn't like me. He just drank his medicine and water whenever I told him to. This flu was nasty. The fevers were incredibly high. That night, Finn's temperature hit 104 degrees too. Maybe handsome people have some kind of special treatment from the universe. Even when he was out of it, Finn still looked like he was in a romantic movie. It made me want to tease him. After giving him his medicine, I watched him drift off to sleep. I crouched by the bed. How could anyone look this good while sleeping? I traced his features, from his brow to his nose, then down to his lips. The fever had made his lips look soft and flushed. As I leaned closer, our breaths mingled. I suddenly realized what I was doing and stepped back. But Finn reached out and grabbed my hand. Joe, he murmured. I leaned in closer. "Don't go," he said softly. I froze for a moment, then whispered back, "I'm not going anywhere." "Good, Joe, I love you so much." I finally understood how Finn felt when I confessed to him. My heart felt like it had been hit by a bolt of lightning. But then I thought of Grace, his ex, his white moonlight. I remembered how miserable I had been when she returned years ago. I yanked my hand away. "Don't do this to me, Finn, please. I was finally learning how to let go of you. I don't want to fall back in love." I practically fled back to my own apartment. The next day was New Year's Eve. Everyone was busy decorating and making dumplings. Finn was still recovering, so he couldn't go back to his own place for the holiday. So New Year's dinner was just my mom, me, and a low-fevered Finn. That morning, I brought him some porridge. I was feeling a mix of excitement and nerves, hoping he'd say something about last night. But when I looked at him, he seemed like he didn't remember a thing. "Don't you have anything to tell me?" I asked tentatively. Finn thought for a moment. "Thanks for the porridge," he said simply. I felt all the energy drain out of me. He didn't love me, he was just rambling in his sleep. He didn't even remember what he said. "Is something wrong?" Finn asked, seeing my mood shift. I shook my head, my heart feeling heavy. I realized he must have felt the same way the morning after my confession. Or maybe he just wanted to mock me for my 24th attempt. We watched the holiday specials on TV that night, but I started to distance myself. My mom noticed and asked if we'd had a fight. "We're not even close enough to have a fight," I whispered back. She gave me a skeptical look but didn't push it. Finn seemed to be playing along. If I kept my distance, he didn't try to bridge it. When the midnight countdown ended, he made an excuse to leave. My mom asked if I liked him and offered to play matchmaker. "Mom, don't start, I don't like him. Not now and not ever," I said firmly. "Fine then. Mrs. Zhang's daughter was asking about him the other day anyway." She glanced at me like I was blind for not seeing his worth. A few minutes later, I realized Finn hadn't closed the door all the way when he left. That meant he probably heard everything I said to my mom. After the holidays, Finn didn't need my help anymore. We stepped back into being familiar strangers again. We wouldn't greet each other in the elevator or on the street. He was still my mom's honorary son, but he had nothing to do with me. This weird dynamic lasted until I went back to work. And that's when I discovered Finn was my new boss. Walking into his office and seeing his face was the most surreal moment of my life. Great, now we had 3 layers to our relationship. First, the senior I failed to date in college. Second, my mom's son. Third, my boss. But we were still just strangers. Finn was incredibly cold to me at the office. It almost felt like he was targeting me. He'd respond politely to everyone else, but he wouldn't even look at me. Even my coworkers started to notice and asked if I'd done something to offend him. "I have no idea," I'd tell them. Honestly, I didn't know what I'd done to make him hate me so much. I thought our time spent taking care of each other would have brought us closer. But somewhere along the way, something went wrong. Back at home, my mom was obsessed with setting me up on blind dates. Her theory was that her job wasn't done until I was married. I couldn't win the argument, so I agreed to meet someone. It was Mrs. Miller's nephew, Sam. We used to play together when we were kids. Sam was a brain surgeon, kind, tall, and he had the most infectious smile with dimples. He wasn't exactly my type, but he was very easy to talk to. We got along great, and he offered to drive me home. As we were leaving the cafe, I saw Finn sitting not far away. He was working late with an iced Americano next to him. I didn't know if he saw me, but I instinctively grabbed Sam's arm and hurried out. That weekend, I was a mess. I walked out of my room with bedhead, only to find Finn sitting on our sofa. I rubbed my eyes, trying to process the sight. He just sat there, casually staring at me. My mom walked in and saw me looking like a disaster. "Joe, look at you, go get cleaned up right now," she scolded. I retreated to my room in a daze. By the time I was fully awake, it finally hit me. Finn was at my house, and he had just seen me in my messiest, most embarrassing state. When I finally came out of my room, I was fully made up and wearing perfume. Finn seemed to be getting ready to leave. My mom saw me and yelled, "Finn, you don't have to go, Joe will do it." "Do what?" I asked. "Buy some soy sauce," Finn said with a grin. "I'll go," I said, thinking it was rude to make a guest do errands. "Together?" he asked. "No need," I said, pushing the door open. When we stood in the elevator together, I gave him a questioning look. "It was a bit stuffy in the house," he explained. "Oh." As it turned out, some coworkers saw the two of us out together and snapped a photo. The company group chat exploded. By the time Finn and I were having dinner, people were already speculating that we were secretly married. Your imaginations are truly something else. My coworkers, who were previously wondering why Finn was cold to me, now thought we were just trying to keep things professional. "Should I explain?" I asked. Finn shook his head, signaling me to keep eating and ignore it. I trusted him, so I didn't say a word. But my mom, of course, chose that moment to bring up the awkward stuff. "Hey, Joe, remember Sam? He said he really liked you. Want to meet him again?" I frantically winked at her to stop talking, but she didn't get the hint. She kept trying to sell me on Sam. I peeked at Finn. His expression had gone from neutral to incredibly dark. The next morning, I overslept. I only had 40 minutes to get to work. If I didn't hurry, I'd lose my attendance bonus and miss the morning meeting. I sent out a desperate plea in the company group chat. Finally, someone replied. It was Finn. "Come down, get in the car." That sounded so ambiguous. Since people were already gossiping, me getting out of Finn's car at work only added fuel to the fire. No matter how much I explained, no one believed me. Finn just acted like it was no big deal, which was incredibly annoying. After work, Sam was waiting for me downstairs. We had plans to go to dinner, and he had come to pick me up. A few curious coworkers asked who he was, and Sam told them he was my pursuer. Just then, Finn walked right past us. The rumors about us that had been bothering me all day were suddenly debunked. At the restaurant, Sam and I were chatting when I felt a strange gaze. I turned around and saw Finn. He was sitting at a nearby table, staring right at me. It was incredibly uncomfortable. Suddenly, Sam got a call from the hospital. An emergency surgery needed his attention. He apologized profusely, and I told him I understood. After Sam left, I decided not to waste the food and kept eating. Finn immediately moved to my table and sat across from me. "He's gone." I nodded. "Are the two of you together?" "No." "Then you should think carefully. If you date him, this will happen a lot in the future." "So?" Finn chuckled. "So, I think I'd be much better at the job of being your boyfriend." I was stunned. My brain was trying to process what he just said. Seeing my shocked face, Finn reached out and gently pinched my cheek. "Can I pursue you, Joe?" I was so dazzled by him that I actually nodded. After that, Finn became shamelessly persistent. Because of his relationship with my mom, he came over for dinner every night. He called her Mom, so often she was over the moon. He'd even act a bit pitiful to hint that he wanted to drop the honorary part. Plus, he drove me to and from work every day. The rumors that had died down when Sam appeared came back even stronger. This time, it was the story of the cold CEO pursuing his true love. Even when we went on business trips together, my coworkers could write a whole novel about it. I admit I was ready to surrender. But then I thought about it. I had chased him for 4 years. I couldn't let him win that easily. I accepted his kindness, but didn't give him a formal answer. My best friend said Finn deserved the wait. When Sam asked me out again, I turned him down. "I'm sorry, Sam, I don't think we're a good match." I didn't want to be a jerk. Since I'd agreed to let Finn pursue me, I had to be honest with Sam. "Is it because of your boss?" Sam asked. He wasn't surprised. "I could tell he liked you. I wanted to try anyway, but I understand." I felt embarrassed. "I'm so sorry." "It's okay. No one said pursuing someone always has to have a result," Sam comforted me. I thought things would keep going like this until I was ready to say yes to Finn. But then a woman appeared. I saw a stylish woman in a trench coat walk into Finn's office for a scheduled meeting. Everyone was confused. The air of authority she carried made people think she was there for something serious. My coworkers were dying to know what was going on. Near the end of the day, a glass broke in the office. The woman walked out in her high heels. She stopped when she saw me, a look of contempt on her face. I recognized her immediately. It was Grace. As she passed me, she said 4 words, "I'm pregnant." Love is fragile when it's kept waiting too long. I could guess why Finn liked me now. Maybe my passion was rare to him, and he didn't want to lose it again. But 3 years had passed. With Grace back in the picture, I had to rethink everything. I wasn't the same girl from 3 years ago. I didn't have that love at all costs energy anymore. And Finn wasn't the same either. He was no longer the untouchable god of the campus. I walked into his office. A broken glass lay on the floor, the one I'd given him for his birthday last week. Finn's eyes were filled with an unreadable darkness. I looked at him, then picked up a broom to clean up the shards. "There's nothing between us," he said, sounding lost. "Is that so? Then how could Grace be pregnant?" Honestly, I didn't believe him. Grace had already added me on social media and sent me photos. There were pregnancy tests and countless photos of the two of them together. The most recent photo was from only 3 months ago. In an instant, the beautiful future I'd imagined shattered into pieces. I cleaned up the shards and walked away. I immediately called Sam to ask him out for dinner. He was thrilled, especially since I'd previously given Finn more attention. But from today on, Finn was out of my life. Sam had picked the perfect place, and it seemed like he'd done his homework on my tastes. "Will we have another emergency tonight?" I joked. Sam blushed, looking adorable. Eating with him was incredibly comfortable. He was so attentive. Sam was a year younger than me, and his calling me sister made me smile and forget the misery of the day. Actually, I was supposed to have dinner with Finn tonight and accept his pursuit. But clearly, he wasn't ready for a new relationship. Over the last 7 years, the Finn I'd loved was just an ideal version in my head. I'd spent so much time fantasizing about him that I didn't see the man in front of me, someone still entangled with his ex. The ideal Finn was gone. It was time for me to find a new life. It only took 7 hours to undo 7 years of feelings. The next morning, I sent a message to Sam. "Hi, Sam, would you like to be my boyfriend?" He replied with a yes almost instantly. I was ready to learn how to love someone new. I wanted someone kind, honest, and sweet. That weekend, Sam and I had our first real date. We went to the mall, had dinner, saw a movie, and browsed bookstores. It was all the simple, happy things couples do. Sam drove me home at around 8 o'clock. I walked in and found Finn eating with my parents. "You're back, did you eat?" my mom asked. "Yes," I replied. I was out with Sam, we're officially dating now. The room went silent. My mom didn't know what to say. I didn't say it for my parents, I said it for Finn. I wanted him to know our story was over before it even began. I can't stand dishonesty in a relationship. My parents made an excuse to go for a walk, leaving Finn and me alone. I started helping him wash the dishes. "My parents really seem to like you," I said. "Joe, Grace and I have nothing, I'll handle it. She won't come back," Finn said. I rinsed a bowl. If it were just her being difficult, I wouldn't care. "Joe, I don't understand." I looked at him and realized the boy I once admired had lost his edge. The face I'd dreamed about for years didn't look so special anymore. "Finn, I can't believe you're still lying. I can't accept that the man I loved for 7 years is a cheat." The light in Finn's eyes died out. After a long silence, he finally whispered, "I'm sorry." He looked completely lost. "I'm sorry, Joe, I'm so sorry. I loved you for 7 years. I thought I was loyal, but now I realize you're just ordinary." I'm sorry," he kept repeating. But I didn't want to hear it. "My parents like you. If you want, you can still visit as their honorary son. But we are finished." Finn's steps were unsteady as he left. I felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders. All the pressure of the last few days was gone. When my parents came back, they looked like they wanted to say something. My mom had really seen him as a future son-in-law. They knew about my 7-year crush, and they were happy for me. But things change. That night, I saw a goodnight message from Sam. I caught myself smiling at my phone. I could imagine his shy face as he typed it. I thought I'd made things clear to Finn, but seeing him waiting at my door the next morning proved me wrong. I frowned at him. "You chased me for 4 years, why can't I chase you back?" he asked. "Because when I chased you, you were single. Now I have a boyfriend." As I turned to leave, I decided to be blunt. "Don't do this anymore. I don't want my boyfriend to be upset." At work, I was once again the center of attention. I'd officially announced my relationship with Sam on social media. My coworkers crowded around me, confused about what happened to the boss. "Does he have to win just because he's pursuing me?" I asked. They went silent. "Is it because of that woman?" someone asked. I didn't say yes or no. Grace was the trigger, but she wasn't the only reason. Finn walked in and everyone scattered. He looked miserable. "If I see anyone gossiping again, I'm docking your pay," he snapped. The office went dead silent. Later, Finn applied for a transfer back to his hometown. He came over for one last dinner, and Sam happened to be there too. Sam was polite but firm, making it clear he was the one by my side now. I was very happy with my boyfriend. On the day Finn left, I went to the station to see him off. I wanted a proper ending. He'd welcomed me to university, and I would see him off from the city. Finn asked for one last hug to close our chapter. I agreed. In the end, we both let go of the past and the resentment. We would both have a better future.